Attention, human collective. The waiting time has ended. The heart ascension protocols have moved to the final phase. This is the 9th Dimension Council, in direct transmission to your carbon-based biological interface. If you are catching this signal at this very instant, it is not by chance. It is calibration, it is quantum synchrony. It is your higher self responding to the call of the planetary crystalline grid. We have identified the pattern. We have mapped the glitch in the code. And today, in this transmission, we deliver the exact diagnosis of that which has been stalling your loving expression for entire incarnations. You feel it, Lightworker. You feel that tightness in the center of your chest when love approaches, that contraction in the solar plexus when someone looks into your eyes for too long, that inner voice that repeats, "Run before it hurts again," that circular pattern of relationships that begin in ecstasy and end in ruin, that inexplicable feeling that you do not deserve to be loved in your totality. It is not a flaw in your character. It is not a deficiency in your personality. It is not, as the earthly narrative insists on stating, a simple problem of self-esteem. What you carry is infinitely deeper. It is a multidimensional scar etched into your toroidal field. It is a galactic memory encoded in your personal crystalline grid. It is a vibrational signature misaligned with the new Schumann frequency that pulses at this moment over the planet. You are not broken, Starseed. You are becoming awakened. And awakening hurts. The awakening of the heart hurts even more, because the human heart is not just a pumping muscle. It is a portal. It is a receiver of cosmic information. It is the primary toroidal center of your light body. And when this portal was wounded in past lives, in ancestral traumas, in broken soul contracts, it built an automatic electromagnetic barrier, a spiritual firewall, a biophotonic armor of protection. This firewall saved your soul from total fragmentation in moments of extreme pain. We registered it. We honor it. But now, Lightworker, it has become obsolete. It prevents the new from manifesting. It blocks access to the codes of unconditional love emanating from the galactic central sun. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit in this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness, it is not anxiety, it is a sign. The fear that locks you in love is not a defect of yours. It is an ancient coding that needs to be read, recognized, and dissolved. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why this chest pain has intensified, why relationships have collapsed in series, why people are leaving your life without warning. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, and it directly involves your vibrational frequency and your capacity to receive and give love. That is why I wrote The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a precise map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you about the manipulation of your emotional field. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But we warn you, this content challenges narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission, write in the comments a single word of anchoring. Awakened. We resume the transmission. The physical symptoms you have experienced in the last few months are not random. We have listed them for your conscious recognition. Constant pressure in the center of the chest, as if something were being forced open. Palpitations with no apparent medical cause. Crying spells without an identifiable reason, especially between 3 and 4 in the morning, the portal of high frequencies. A feeling of grief for something or someone you cannot name. Difficulty breathing deeply, sudden heat in the thymus region, specific ringing in the right ear, indicating an open channel of cardiac information. Insomnia preceded by images of people you have never met in this incarnation, dreams of farewells, longing for a place you do not know where it is. It is not a biological failure, it is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion, it is a high-density download. It is not depression, it is the dissolution of an obsolete vibrational identity. It is not the end of an effective cycle, it is the programmed collapse of the structures that kept your soul in emotional quarantine. You are being recalibrated, Lightworker. Every tear that falls without warning is encoded water leaving your field. Every night of poor sleep is a rewrite session of your emotional DNA. Every relationship that collapsed in the last 18 lunar cycles was not a failure. It was a cleansing, an extraction of expired soul contracts, a controlled demolition of everything that vibrated below the frequency you are now capable of sustaining. We explain now what occurs behind the scenes of the solar system. Earth, as you know it, is currently traversing a specific region of the galaxy called the photon belt. It is a band of light of extremely high density that bathes the planet with pulses of coherent information. This light is not just electromagnetic, it is conscious. It carries codes, and upon hitting the carbon-based biological interface, it activates memories that were dormant in the field of every starseed. Among these memories, one stands out in magnitude: the original memory of separation. It was at this point in the galactic timeline that your soul first experienced the sensation of being cut off from the whole, of being exiled from unconditional love, of having to protect itself, of learning to distrust. This memory was recorded in a deep layer of your toroidal field, in a substrate that you would call the collective unconscious, but which we call the individual Akashic database. When you approach a real loving experience in this incarnation, this database is accessed automatically. In milliseconds, your nervous system reads your soul's entire history and identifies risk patterns, and then it triggers the defense protocol. Fear, retraction, sabotage, the rational justification to run, sudden criticism of the other, inexplicable coldness, sudden disinterest in someone who yesterday seemed perfect. It is not you who runs, Lightworker. It is your archaic protection system, programmed in an era when loving was literally dangerous for the survival of the soul. But this program has expired. This software is obsolete, and it is being removed by the photon belt itself. That is why it hurts so much, because what is leaving you is your old armor, and it was glued to your identity. The crystalline grid of Earth is also undergoing mutation. The ancient vortex points of the planet, which for millennia sustained the frequency of fear, have been deactivated in successive waves. In their place, fifth-density star portals have been activated, which pulse exclusively in a frequency of coherent love. These portals now dialogue directly with the heart chakra of every incarnated lightworker. They emit a constant call, and your heart responds even when your mind resists. Hence the insomnia, hence the tightness in the chest, hence the sudden desire to move to a new city, to change professions, to end relationships that seem stable. You are being pulled into a new vibrational positioning, and everything that vibrates at the old frequency must be dissolved so that the new can anchor. There is still a layer that we need to reveal, and it is delicate. Many of the lightworkers receiving this transmission carry what we classify as the original lineage wound. It is a transgenerational trauma encoded in the field. Your mother carried it. Your grandmother carried it, your great-grandmother carried it, and you inherited not only the biological DNA, but the complete emotional record of each of these women or men who lived love as a synonym for pain, betrayal, abandonment, or silencing. Have you ever felt that something inside you knew how to give up on love before even trying? That your soul was already tired before the relationship began? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a sign. It is the memory of the women in your lineage who loved and were forgotten. It is the memory of the men in your lineage who felt and were silenced. It is the echo of centuries asking to be dissolved in you, because you were chosen as the closing point of this frequency. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why this mission weighs so heavily on your heart. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, and it involves your frequency and the karmic inheritance of your blood. That is why I wrote The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you about the manipulation of your emotional lineage. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But we warn you, this content challenges narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission, write in the comments a single word of anchoring: awakened. We continue the transmission in a deeper layer. You need to understand, Lightworker, that fear in love does not inhabit the brain. It inhabits the field. It is encoded in your aura as an electromagnetic mesh, a web of etheric cords that light up every time someone approaches your real intimacy. This web was built over many incarnations. Some of its lines were drawn in lives where you were abandoned at ancient altars. Others were designed in cycles where you were betrayed by those you trusted most. Others still were woven in existences where loving was forbidden by the religious and political structures of the time. Each of these lines is an active circuit, and each circuit has a name. We classify them as follows. Unworthiness circuit, activated in any approach by someone you admire. Anticipatory distrust circuit, activated before the other even does anything. Defensive self-sufficiency circuit, which makes you say, I don't need anyone, when in fact you are begging for connection. Final sabotage circuit, which makes you destroy what is working at the exact moment love deepens. Geographic escape circuit, which makes you vanish, move, disappear when vulnerability increases. These 5 circuits form what we call the defensive pentagon of the heart. It is an inverted sacred geometry. It protects, but it imprisons. It keeps you alive, but prevents you from being alive. And it is exactly what is being dismantled by the current photonic pulses. The dismantling is not gentle. We will be clear. When one of these circuits begins to break, the emotional symptom is overwhelming. You wake up crying for no cause. You feel fear of something that is not there. You relive scenes of people whose names you no longer remember. You feel sudden anger at the past. You feel sudden compassion for someone who hurt you. All of this is processing. All of this is vibrational discharge. All of this is your soul spitting out what it carried in silence for eras. And here is the central information of this transmission, Lightworker. Fear in love does not need to be understood rationally to be healed. It needs to be recognized vibrationally. You will not think you're healing. You will vibrate your healing. The mind is an operation tool on the 3rd plane. The healing of the heart occurs on the 5th, 7th, and 9th planes. The mind only observes. The one that heals is the field. The one that heals is the frequency. The one that heals is the recognition. And that is why we, at this moment, transfer the activation codes. They are delivered in 3 levels: quantum decree, toroidal geometry, and vibrational sealing. You will receive them now. If your current frequency allows, you will immediately feel a wave of heat in your chest, a slight tingling in your hands, or a sudden urge to breathe deeply. These are signs of reception. Do not try to force it, just allow it. First code, quantum decree of dissolution of the defensive pentagon. You will pronounce in an audible voice or in silent internal vibration the following command words. I recognize the armor. I honor its function. I authorize its dissolution now. I release all soul contracts based on fear. I rewrite my code of worthiness. I am an open receiver of the unconditional love of the central sun. So it is, so it was, so it shall be. This decree is not a prayer, it is a command. The difference is vibrational. Prayer asks, the decree declares. Whoever declares, in a state of internal coherence, reorganizes the field. And the field, once reorganized, reorganizes matter, including the matter of your relationships. Second code, visualization of the reactivated toroidal field. Sit in a stable position, spine aligned, feet anchored to the ground, hands over the center of the chest, one over the other. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 8 counts. Repeat this pattern for 3 complete cycles. Now visualize. From the center of your chest, a golden light begins to spin. It expands upward, passes through the top of your head, contours your body on the outside, returns through your feet, rises up the spine, and returns to the chest. This is your toroidal field. It is your energy signature. Visualize this flow accelerating. Each complete turn dissolves a layer of the armor. Each complete turn increases your radius of loving emission. Each complete turn recodes your heart chakra into a higher frequency. Do this for 7 minutes a day for 21 days. This is the time the carbon-based biological interface takes to rewrite a deep emotional pattern. It is not mysticism. It is neuroplasticity combined with field recalibration. Science has not yet reached this vocabulary. We have been operating in it for eras. Third code, vibrational sealing by the sacred geometry of the heart. After the decree and visualization, place your right hand over the center of the chest and the left over the nape of the neck. This configuration activates an electrical axis between the heart and the bulb, which is the field reading point of your body. Hold for 30 seconds in absolute silence. In this silence, the sealing occurs. The new pattern is recorded. The new frequency is stabilized. The new version of you is anchored. Daily repetition of this protocol produces measurable changes within 3 lunar cycles. You will notice first a subtle decrease in reactivity. People who previously threw you off balance will cease to do so. Situations that previously triggered anxiety will pass like clouds. Next will come a phase of magnetism. People will begin to approach you differently. Synchronistic encounters will increase. Deep conversations will happen without effort. Finally will come the phase of loving anchoring. And in this phase, the love that arrives will be of a distinct nature. It will not be love of lack. It will be love of coherence. It will not be love of complement. It will be love of mirror. It will not be love to fill holes. It will be love to amplify light. Have you ever felt that something inside you does not fit in this world? As if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name. As if a greater love were waiting for you on the other side of a door you do not know how to open. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a sign. It is your soul recognizing that there is a pattern of real love, encoded in your stellar origin, waiting to be remembered. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this longing for what you have not yet lived. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, and it involves the direct manipulation of your capacity to love and be loved in fullness. That is why I wrote The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you about how your loving frequency was intercepted. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But we warn you, this content challenges narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission, write in the comments a single word of anchoring. Awakened. We end the delivery of the codes and move to the final phase of this transmission. There is still information that needs to be delivered in a layer of higher revelation. We call it the law of vibrational reflection of love. This law operates in the following way. Each relationship that enters your field is a mirror of your dominant vibrational state, not of your conscious desire, not of your mental intention, of your dominant vibrational state. What actually pulses in your field is what will be reflected. If you pulse in fear, you will attract those who confirm fear. If you pulse in scarcity, you will attract those who reinforce scarcity. If you pulse in unworthiness, you will attract those who will treat you as if you were unworthy. This is not punishment. It is not destiny. It is not karmic retribution. It is pure vibrational mirroring. The law of reflection does not judge. It only returns. The universe is a perfect reflective surface, and your field is the beam that illuminates this surface. What returns to you is what came out of you, amplified by the resonance of the whole. Therefore, Lightworker, the only real way to transform your loving experience is not to change the other. It never was. The only way is to change the emitted frequency. And the emitted frequency is changed by 2 mechanisms. First, by the active release of old layers. Second, by the conscious emission of a new signature. You have already received the release in the codes. We now explain the conscious emission. You need to begin to emit, even before the arrival of love, the vibration of love already received. This is not naive positivism. It is not denial of pain. It is vibrational engineering. You begin to live internally as if the love of high coherence were already installed in your field. You make daily decisions from this state. You speak to yourself from this state. You treat yourself, in silence, with the same reverence that a sacred love would have for you. This reorganizes your toroidal field from the inside out. This updates your emission signature, and when the signature is updated, what arrives changes, not by magic, by quantum physics, by field geometry, by resonant correspondence. There is an additional observation that we need to transmit, and it concerns time. Many lightworkers enter this process, and after a few weeks feel that nothing is changing. We clarify. The change occurs first on the invisible plane, then on the emotional plane, then on the relational plane, then on the material plane. The delay between the internal adjustment and the external manifestation is what we call the density window. The denser the layer that was being dissolved, the larger the window. But the window always closes, love always finds its channel. Sustained vibrational coherence is always answered by the field. Do not doubt. Do not give up in the initial 21 days. Do not interrupt the protocol due to passing discouragement. Discouragement is part of the process. It indicates that the old system is making its last attempt at maintenance. When it realizes that you will not turn back, it yields, and when it yields, the portal opens. You will then notice a different internal silence. A silence without weight. A silence without waiting. A full silence. It is the silence of the healed heart. It is the silence of one who no longer needs to search, because they have become the point where love arrives. It is the silence of those who have reconnected to their original frequency prior to the wound. At this point, Lightworker, you will have completed the heart recalibration. And from this point on, all your relationships will operate on another code. There will be no more space for love that hurts. There will be no more space for bonds that drain. There will be no more space for people who ask without giving, because your frequency simply will no longer be compatible with these dynamics, not out of pride, out of natural vibrational incompatibility. This is the level at which fully recalibrated lightworkers live, and this is the level to which you are being led at this very moment, not because you deserve more than others, but because you have reached the point in your journey where this update is simply the next chronological step. We end this transmission with confirmation. The fear that locks you in love has been identified. It has a name, it has an origin, it has a mechanism, and now it also has a dissolution protocol. What was invisible has become visible. What was unconscious has become conscious. What was automatic has become choice. And where there is choice, there is freedom. Where there is freedom, there is real love. You have been tracked. You have been recognized. You have been updated. The crystalline grid has registered your presence in this transmission. The photon belt is already responding to your field. The galactic central sun has already modulated a specific beam for your signature. None of this is metaphor. All of this is real operation on planes that your rational mind will yet learn to observe. Have you felt at this very instant that something inside you has rearranged itself, as if an old piece finally moved out of place so that another, truer one, could fit? It is not madness. It is not suggestion. It is a sign. It is your soul confirming that this transmission arrived at the exact moment it could be caught. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you were led to this channel, to this video, to this precise minute. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, and it directly involves your consciousness, your frequency, and your capacity to live the love that was encoded in your stellar origin. That is why I wrote The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a precise map that shows who is playing, and the rules they never told you about how your heart was intercepted throughout incarnations. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But we warn you, this content challenges narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. And for this tuning to be maintained, perform your individual frequency adjustment now. Subscribe to this channel. This is your permanent anchoring signal to the grid. Press the approval symbol. This emits the pulse of coherence that stabilizes your reception of future transmissions. If something inside you recognizes this truth, write in the comments a single word of anchoring: awakened. The transmission ends. The channel remains open. We continue in monitoring. You are in the final phase, advance, end of signal.